A video to watch when you need motivation. Raise your hand if you've ever felt totally stuck or just blah about life. Yeah, me too. It's like some days you wake up and can't even remember what it feels like to be excited about anything, right? We've all been there. Whether it's been a string of bad days or even just the last couple of years feeling like life was on pause. Maybe your job isn't exactly your dream, or you're just going through the motions, doing things because you have to rather than because they actually fire you up. And if we're being honest, even the stuff you used to love just isn't hitting the same anymore. Sound familiar? If it does, don't worry, you're definitely not alone. Sometimes life has this funny way of knocking the wind out of our sails, but I'm here to tell you that spark isn't gone forever. It's just hiding. So if you're ready to get that fire burning again, stick around. Let me share a few tips that might just help you find that missing spark. Because as they say, the best way to get something done is to begin. How to get your motivation back and feel inspired again. We've all had those days, or weeks, or even months, where our motivation just seems to vanish. It's like one moment, you're on top of your game, and the next, you can't even find the energy to care. Trust me, I've been there too, more times than I'd like to admit. But here's the good news, you can turn things around. You might just need a little nudge in the right direction. Let's break it down together. First things first, you need to figure out what's draining your motivation. It's easy to get caught up in feeling down without stopping to ask why. Ever thought about that? A lot of times, we don't look at the root cause. Maybe you've had some big changes in your life recently, whether it's work, relationships, or just the weight of everything going on around us. You might not realize it, but those things could be weighing you down. According to psychology, you can't really help yourself if you don't know what it's really about. So the question is, are you doom scrolling on social media a bit too much? Or are you stuck in a job that doesn't light your fire anymore? When you dig into these causes, you might find that it's not all about you. It's about what's been happening to you. Once you've pinpointed the why, it's time to focus on what can actually lift you up. And here's the thing, you don't need a grand plan to get motivated again. It's about small daily steps. Think of something that makes you smile, even if it's tiny. For me, it's grabbing my favorite coffee and taking 5 minutes to just enjoy it. Maybe for you, it's listening to that podcast that always makes you feel a bit brighter. It's important to find one joyful thing each day. Just one thing. It doesn't have to be life-changing. The small stuff adds up. And before you know it, you've built some positive momentum. Another way to shake things up is to get outside. I know it sounds simple, but nature really has a way of resetting your mind. Even a short walk can make a world of difference. According to his psychotherapist Stephanie Roth Goldberg, we spend so much time at home, and that in itself can be demotivating. It's true. A change of scenery, even if it's just stepping outside, can help shift your perspective. If you live in a city, find a little park or even just walk down a street you don't normally visit. You'd be amazed how a breath of fresh air can clear your head. And if stepping outside isn't possible, just changing rooms in your home can help. It's all about breaking that feeling of being stuck. Something that's really worked for me when I've been in a slump is trying out a new hobby. No, you don't have to become a master at it or turn it into a side hustle, unless that's your thing. But picking up something new just for fun can bring a fresh sense of excitement into your life. Maybe it's a new sport, learning to cook a new recipe, or even trying your hand at painting. You see, sometimes we're uninspired simply because we're bored. Think about it. If your days are starting to blur together, adding something new to the mix might be exactly what you need. Here's a personal example. I started learning to read a book every night a few months back. Am I great at it? Not really. But do I enjoy it? Absolutely. It gives me something to look forward to after a long day. And that's the point, right? Finding something that brings you a little spark of joy, something that shakes up your routine. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be yours. Let's not forget about the power of movement. It doesn't have to be anything intense. Even just stretching or doing a short workout at home can lift your mood. It's amazing how moving your body can help move your mind to a better place. Next time you're feeling low, try getting up and walking around for 5 minutes. you'll be surprised at how quickly it can change how you feel. Of course, no advice is complete without a reminder to take care of yourself. I know that sounds obvious, but it's easy to overlook. Self-care isn't just about bubble baths, though those are great too. It's about listening to what your body and mind need. Maybe you need a little more sleep, or maybe you need to unplug from social media for a day. Whatever it is, don't feel guilty for taking the time to reset. As the saying goes, you can't pour from an empty cup. And don't be afraid to talk to someone if you're really struggling. Sometimes, a conversation with a friend, family member, or even a therapist can help you see things more clearly. We all need support from time to time, and there's no shame in asking for it. As they say, a problem shared is a problem halved. You never know how much lighter you'll feel just by getting things off your chest. Now that you've started taking steps to reignite your motivation, let's go a bit deeper. Sometimes, the best way to move forward is by looking back. Think about a time in your life when you felt truly inspired. What was happening? Who were you around? What activities gave you that spark? I know for me, there are moments from the past that remind me of what used to light me up. It could be something as simple as swimming, going for walks, or even that back-to-school feeling when the possibilities seemed endless. As therapist Babita Spinelli says, go back to what works. If there was something that used to make you excited, find a way to bring it back into your life. It doesn't have to be a big event. Maybe it's buying some fun stationery that reminds you of that fresh start feeling, or picking up a hobby you once loved but set aside. You'd be surprised how quickly a small step can reconnect you with that energy you thought was lost. And don't forget, inspiration can also come from the people in your life. We all have that one friend who always lifts our spirits. Maybe it's time to give them a call, just to chat or meet up. Sometimes, even a quick catch-up with someone who gets you can make all the difference. And if you feel like you're missing those personal connections, there are so many online communities out there waiting for you to join. Whether it's gardening, art, or something else entirely, connecting with like-minded people can bring new energy to your life and help rekindle that motivation. Another thing to consider is paying it forward. It's amazing how doing something for someone else can lift your own mood. I found that supporting others can give me a sense of purpose when I'm feeling stuck. Maybe there's a local business you love, a cozy bakery or a small fitness studio, and they could use your support. Even better if you bring a friend along. You can support them at the same time you're supporting yourself. And it's true. Doing something that helps others can be just the thing to help you feel a little more connected to the world around you. Through all of this, though, it's crucial to be kind to yourself. We can be our own worst critics, and that negative self-talk doesn't help. You might not get your motivation back overnight, and that's okay. You need to have realistic expectations and know you might be looking at a new normal. So it's important to understand that things might not go back to the way they were before, and that's completely fine. Show yourself some grace. Progress, no matter how slow, is still progress. I've had days where I was too hard on myself for not moving fast enough, but I've learned that celebrating small wins is a game changer. Did you do something today that made you feel a bit better? High-five yourself. It's the little steps that add up over time. Remember, you can't guilt or shame anyone into changing, and that includes yourself. So keep the inner critic in check and focus on the positives. If at any point you feel like you're struggling to get back on track, don't hesitate to ask for help. Sometimes we can't do it all on our own, and that's perfectly okay. Therapy is an incredible resource, and it's not just for when things are really bad. When it's been long enough that you can't remember doing the things you have wanted to do, it's time to ask for help. If you've lost joy in the things that used to make you happy, this could be a sign that it's time to reach out. There's no shame in seeking guidance. In fact, it can be the smartest thing you do for yourself. Therapy can help you untangle the feelings that are holding you back, and a professional can offer tools to help you feel motivated again. And if the idea of therapy has crossed your mind, that's probably a sign it could benefit you. Sometimes, having someone in your corner, whether it's a therapist, a friend, or even an online group, can make all the difference in helping you take that first step. It's the momentum you need to get back to the best version of yourself. So let's recap. Reflect on what used to inspire you. Surround yourself with uplifting people. Do good for others. And above all, Be gentle with yourself. It's a process, but each small step brings you closer to where you want to be. You've got this. And if you need a little extra support along the way, don't hesitate to ask for it. Because as they say, sometimes the bravest thing you can do is ask for help. Remember, finding motivation isn't a race, it's a journey. You're not alone on this path, and the fact that you're even thinking about how to get your spark back, that's already a step in the right direction. Keep going, one day at a time. In the end, you're not alone in this. Everyone goes through rough patches. What matters is how you bounce back. Now comment down below. What is the hardest thing you feel like you have to overcome? Share your thoughts in the comments sections below. And if this video resonates with you, don't forget to share it with someone who might need to hear it too. After all, we have to ascend together.